Greetings, everyone. Core here, and if you saw my first review, you know this is part two. Well, not really part two, but it's my second review for today because I just spent 5 hours in the movie theater, and here is the first movie I saw, which is Dunkirk. And I'm not much of a history buff, but man, it is. So first of all, the director Christopher Nolan likes to use a lot of practical effects. He doesn't like to rely on CG and stuff. So he's kind of an old school director, and he really gets everything he wants. Really, uh, I've heard stories from like the movie studios and everything trying to talk him out of certain things because they're like, oh, it's too expensive, it's not possible, and he gets it still. He gets things done the way he wants them, which is very impressive, really cool. Credit to the guy. Where credit is due, and a lot of people probably know him from Batman, the Batman trilogy of Batman. excuse me, of Batman Begins, Dark Knight, and Dark Knight Rises, as well as Inception and a Memento. For those people that like this earlier stuff, it's he's done a lot, and it's really great work. Every single one of them. Um, and this one, it's a more period piece, so it is a little different compared to what he's done before because it's actually based on true events. And he shoots this on 70 millimeter, which is IMAX format, which is how I saw it pretty much. I saw it in IMAX at my AMC as well, and oh man, like I know I talk a lot about Dolby Atmos theaters and how the sound and how the picture and everything looks, but this one takes a lot of cues from like Saving Private Ryan. If you ever seen that, how they used old school cameras during that time to make it feel more realistic, more different, to feel more grounded. And it's pretty much the same kind of concept here, because well, one, it's roughly the same timeline, um, time frame of Saving Private Ryan and Dunkirk. But with this one, I believe Dunkirk is World War II. Could be wrong. Like I said, I'm not a history buff, but pretty sure it's World War II. Um, but yeah, so the story of Dunkirk is there's 400,000 soldiers pretty much trapped on a French beach. Um, the Germans are just surrounding them and slowly moving in and taking them out with planes and stuff, while they have their back to the sea, and all the ships, the Navy ships and everything, are just getting slaughtered every time they try to rescue some guys. So they hire, well, they pretty much volunteer the any kind of shipping boat, any kind of vessel that they have in England, and I believe a couple other bordering countries that are by sea right there in the channel, and they become the rescue party. The tagline for this movie is, when they couldn't make it home, home came for them. And it is impactful as how this movie, I haven't felt a movie, I haven't had this much what should I say, man, this movie just draws you in from the opening scene. It actually makes you invested in the characters and what's going on, even though, like I said, it's already happened and we know what happens. But the way they shoot it, it's not linear. It's very, you know, cut here, cut here, cut here. There's three different stories pretty much going on, and there's one story at the beachfront following a soldier trying to get out. There's another story of one of the boats, going to go rescue the young soldiers. There's another story with two, airplanes, fighter pilots trying to, save the soldiers on the beach from, the German planes and bombers and everything. So it's really cool how they how he does it. It's not very linear, so I do like that. I know linear movies, of course, are always great. That's standard, but when you could intersplice storylines where you start seeing the overlapping parts and everything, it really changes things. It throws you off a little bit, but also makes you more interested because you don't know what's happening next. And then when you see those layers, start to fold over on each other, those are the payoffs every single time. And there's a lot of great payoffs in this movie, and there's a lot of moments where you're feeling just as nervous as those guys on the beach. I it most of it is just the way it's shot. Um, the IMAX, the 70 millimeter, it's just amazing, especially for sound. Like I said, I love the Dolby Atmos, you know, theaters and stuff, but man, the 70 millimeter IMAX just is a step above. It just feels more real because supposedly they have 65 millimeters for the film, 5 millimeters for sound, and it just sounds more real. I guess because it's analog instead of digitalized, so it just feels very impactful. And the music that goes along with this movie just keeps you, on your toes, on the edge of your seat every single second. And every now and then they'll give you a little break, and something nice will happen, something cool. The good guys will win, one battle, but the war still rages on, and it's back to this, nail biting pace. Well, not it's not even nail biting pace. It's just sense of urgency that's going on, and you're just, man, it's intense. I gotta say, if you know, like I said, it's been a while since I've seen a movie where it draws me in so much, and this one just like gets me, man. It's just, I don't know anyone that won't feel, won't get connected to these characters, not get drawn into this story, not feel anything when there's one scene in here towards the end, which actually made me cry. Just because it's one of those scenes where it's like, oh man, it's like, it's it's happening. Like I said, if you know the story, you know what's gonna happen. But for those that don't, I try not to spoil it because it is intense. And like I said, it's been years, I'd say, since I've watched a movie this intense. From the way it's shot, from the way it's the sound scores to, just the foliage sounds from just every single thing, just coming together, and the music is just crazy. I feel like the music never stops, and when it does, it is a bit dreadful because you don't know what's gonna happen next. Um, but yeah, it is. Dunkirk is such an amazing movie. Uh, I mean, as far as what it does, it might be my favorite movie this year. It's kind of funny because it's probably one of the shortest movies of the year, especially for Christopher Nolan. He usually does these, 2 hour, almost 3 hour epics, and this movie's only an hour 49, I believe, or something like that, and it's impressive how much he gets out of it, and it's worth every single dollar. I mean, those IMAX tickets, aren't cheap, but like I said, it's worth every single penny. Definitely see it if you're interested in, if you can't handle something that's so intense, then yeah, maybe you might want to wait a little until it comes home in theater, to movies. But I would highly recommend it to see it in IMAX if you can. 70 millimeter IMAX, whatever, however you see it. I recommend it. I cannot recommend it anymore. Like I said, it's probably my best movie so far this year. But yeah, just thinking about it, such a great movie. I'm glad I did not do a review right there in the movie theater. I waited so I could think about it, just to, think of everything that this movie does right, and it does a lot right. But yeah, man, great movie. Definitely recommend it. Definitely the better of the two that I saw today. Valorant was really cool, but it's such a completely different movie compared to Dunkirk. So if you're interested, definitely go see it. Won't be disappointed. And next week, I'll have another hopefully intense movie, which is Atomic Blonde, and it looks pretty fun considering that it has the same choreographer as John Wick. So we'll see. But until then, guys, later.